My whole life, I could not play that intro, and I've been trying, since I heard it, like most of us. And I pretty much just figured, you know what? I'm never gonna play Mean Street. It's just gonna be one of them things. It sounded like just a sloppy, unrhythmic, awkward train wreck. I mean, if I was lucky, I could maybe get through the pattern once, sloppy, but kind of hack it through. But every time it would repeat on that turnaround, it'd get me every single time, no matter how many times I'd practice slow and all the conventional advice. And Eddie makes it look so easy and effortless. I did a poll recently in my community posts, and it was a landslide, the most intimidating Van Halen riff. It kicked Spanish Flying Eruption's butts. You put their scores together and it still kicked their butts. It was that bad, 58%. And I was like, yeah, I know. I get it. That's why I don't have any videos about that song. But a few weeks ago, I decided just for the heck of it to try something random, just a different approach. And I was only practicing this on the side. I was totally immersed in something else. And it worked so fast to get this up to speed for me that I had to make this video because I got to show you what I did. So this different approach, I figured I was going to try a strategy that I used with hand synchronization between my fret hand and picking hand. And what you do is you train your hands separately, isolate them. And so I applied the same idea with a few additions of my own to this technique. And lo and behold, it worked here too, like super fast, way faster than I expected any results, frankly. So what makes this particular riff hard is it's an unorthodox technique. It's not your typical guitar playing. There's really not much melodic going on. You got, your 12th fret, a couple notes, but basically it's very rhythmic, kind of just percussive, driving thing. It almost sounds like Eddie's doing Morse code on the fretboard or something. But it doesn't feel natural to do the physical part that is required to play this. And I'm reading off some notes here just so I don't skip any points. But I think the mistake most of us make is we jump into trying to play the full riff too soon, without even having the fundamental foundation of being able to do the technique well. Like you wouldn't throw a book of campfire songs at somebody that you didn't teach any chords to first, right? I know I may have oversimplified with that analogy, but you get the drift. So quickly, what's actually going on here is your right hand is taking care of your melody as opposed to doing picking. You got a tap with your index finger and kind of a thumb slap. And then the left hand, rather than fretting notes, on this one, it's all going to be in charge of muting. And also what it does is it's kind of the glue that holds this whole riff together, but it's kind of the engine that propels the whole thing too. Because if you didn't have those dead mute string pops in between the tap and thumb slap, it wouldn't sound the same. And it sounds and looks complex, but it's really just two very simple things going on in sync with each other. Hey, before I get too far, if you want to get a free PDF I threw together with instructions and all the exact drills, plus a couple others that I used to make this riff finally happen for me, I highly suggest you do that. Just comment drills down below and I'll get that right out to you. So your right hand, you're going to be using your index finger and your thumb, as I mentioned before. Now with your index finger, the approach that they both take to the fretboard is going to be a little bit different. The angle kind of matters. And what I recommend for your hand, you want it straight, but not like, tensed out or nothing. But you probably want to bring your pointer finger away from the others a little bit because you want it to be able to, your wrist is going to kind of be swinging, and then you're not going to swing your whole hand. Eventually you're going to move your finger. But to rotate between your finger and your thumb strikes, that's when you're going to rotate at the wrist. When you do it a few times, you'll start to get what I'm saying. My heel of my hand is real close to the body of the guitar. It's not touching it. I'm not like hitting that because that will restrict movement. My elbow is pretty anchored though, and what I'm shooting for is to be in a position where I know that when I strike, I'm going to hit the middle of that 12th fret for my index finger, and then I should be in a good spot to, when I do the rotate, to smack that fret wire for the 12th fret so I get that harmonic. That's basically the 2 hits and the motion. You want to focus on, first, you want to focus on getting clean hits. So what I mean is with your forefinger, oh, and I should tell you, you're going to be doing like the fleshy part here, not like your fingertip, like tapping, you know. It's kind of like when you learn a small F chord, the one that's not a full bar, you still got to bar these 2 strings. That's a double stop. You do it in Chuck Berry licks and stuff, you know. So you're doing that now with your other hand and from the other side of the neck. So what you're going to do is you're going to strike it. So your first goal with both is to just be able to get clean, consistent sound repeatedly. You want that. You don't want some garbage like, you know, hitting the wrong frets, whatever. You just want to hear that. And don't anchor your thumb like that. So when you can do that with your index and then your thumb, you just kind of... Now I do usually keep this thumb slightly in contact. I'll talk more about that when I get to the left hand in just a sec. But all you're doing here with your thumb, I personally hit it above the knuckle. Kind of like, for me, it lines up with about where my fingernail is. Now I'm not thinking about that consciously, that's just how it naturally works. With this finger, I want to try and hit with that fleshy part, but whatever works for your hand to get that clean articulation. That might vary from person to person a little bit, so keep that in mind. Okay, now the left hand is going to be in charge of all the muting. One of the trickiest parts with this, number one, your muting has to be effective, and I'll explain exactly what I mean in a sec. But the bigger challenge is probably going to be getting used to how light of a touch you actually need to have, because you know, you need to have the strings muted, so you certainly need to be touching them, but you don't want to be pressing on them. And same like when you're doing the hammer thing to do in between the taps, you don't want that to be hitting the strings so hard that it contacts the frets and starts making notes. You just want it to be like that kind of a sound going on whenever there's not a tap note happening. So your big thing is aim for a light touch there, but it's got to be effective muting like I said at first. You should be able to rake through those strings and not hear any notes. You shouldn't do this. That's usually caused if you have open strings. That means you've got some curve in your finger, which might be natural, but it's leaving a gap where an open string can ring, so you may have to find a way to rotate your finger. See, for me, that doesn't work. It works better for me if I'm this way. I can do it very naturally. There happens to be a spot along my finger that just is good for that, you know? And I do the first 5 strings. I leave this one open a little bit, but I do slightly contact it with a little bit of this Jimi Hendrix hand position. I don't totally mute it and choke it like with these others, and I wouldn't even say it's quite a palm mute, but it's similar to a palm mute, but I'm doing it with my thumb and just very lightly, and that just takes like the edge off that tap, especially if I end up hitting it super hard, and it seems to aid in the very, just the whole percussive vibe of this riff. So I don't know, just a little tip there. I think it makes it sound better for me. And then, yeah, so then when you do the hammer thing and practice that, you'll have to figure out what works best for you. For me, I'm typically trying to generally strike with my second and third, or preferably just my second finger. The more fingers I use, it seems like the more force I tend to start hitting with. And then you might get some of those random, like, actual notes, and that doesn't quite sound as good. So I kind of hinted at it earlier, but the big breakthrough for me was that most people just dive in and they try to do all this together at the same time without training the actual technique and get the fundamentals first, you know, like baseball practice when we were kids and we all thought practice was boring and it sucked. You have to do those kinds of things in order to get the enjoyment of having it be easy later. And I never did that with this Mean Street thing. I just kept trying to force my way through it every couple years and hang my head in frustration and be like, geez Louise, man, why can I not do this when I can do all these other things? It's because I wasn't learning it the right way. You know, so once you're able to articulate each one clearly with your index strike and your thumb strike there, then you can start doing some very simple rhythms. And these are all outlined in my drill thing you can comment for and get. Start with some quarter notes. Those first couple hits weren't even very good on that one. But then once you can do that, then you mix it up a little bit, you know, do some eighth notes, maybe mix quarters and eighths, you know. I know it doesn't sound musical, but you're just trying to get your hand and stuff used to doing these moves. Then you can work on the left, just kind of some basic, you know, on the beat, and then what you really want to focus on, and you maybe tap your foot or get the metronome going, kind of practice it off the beat. And pay attention to not hitting it too hard. That's kind of the sound you want there, just that chukka chukka sound, whatever you want to call it. You know, so once you got a little control, then you try to put them together a little bit maybe. You know, that kind of thing. And I'm trying to go slow to illustrate it. And you should go slow at first, but I will tell you, once you got the feel of this, you'll see how it is. There's like a bounciness to it that it looks like that when Eddie plays it. And I think a lot of it comes from the thumb, because that double tap is kind of a bounce. But that and the way it sounds, it does. There's like a percussive bounce to this whole thing. All right, so, you know, like I said, when you want to start putting it together, start with the simple rhythms. I kind of said quarter notes on my notes. I don't know. When you're putting them together, yeah, I guess you could do quarter notes. Just whatever's a comfortable pace, but kind of mix up a few things. I've got some, you know, I got some stuff in my drills for that. Until you can do this with some of this basic stuff, though, I wouldn't necessarily dive right into the full riff yet, but you always want to push yourself a little bit too. You kind of got to do the ebb and flow with that. When you do dive back into learning the actual riff, you'll want to take the same kind of approach, you know, learn the parts first. You know, if you've gotten comfortable with the whole thing, you might not have to separate them out, but it's probably still helpful to do that first. You know, so like, I think, oh, and another just kind of a pro tip here, I only got my volume up to about 8 when I do this. I heard from one guy that it helps, and I was like, I tried it. I'm like, yeah, it does seem to help a little. If I turn it to 10, there seems like there's a chance for a little more bleediness or whatever with the sound that you don't want. So maybe give that a try. But if I were to isolate like my right hand, for example, it would be like this. You know, and then when you get to put them both together, that's when you get the... Started off a little rough there, but in my defense, I did just pull this together finally like a week ago, so there's room for error. I'm still improving too. All right, so I don't know for sure when I'll get to the next part, but obviously the next step in the progression would be to do the tapped harmonics part. That's not really under the umbrella of this technique, so I'm not going to go into that today. But I'm curious if you've ever tried to learn this intro lick before, this tap slap part, whatever. And if you've gotten through any of it, like, what do you think's the hardest part? Is it this part? Is it something else? Is it just the whole thing in general? Let me know down in the comments. I'd like to check that out. And one last time, I definitely think you should grab the PDF with the drills. There's, I don't know, maybe a dozen of them or something. You don't need a lot. It's more than enough. It's actually more than I used. And I only did this, you know, a few minutes here and there. I wasn't even that good about it. All I can say is you'd be surprised when you practice it the right way, how much results you can. I've had this same experience with like other aspects of my technique, literally within the last few months, and it's kind of mind-blowing. So just put in the right kind of work and focus on the right things, and I think you'd be surprised what you can do. But grab that PDF, save you a ton of frustration. Drills down below, comment. If you want to see me break down some more, like a whole arsenal of Eddie techniques, go check that video out right there. I'm pretty sure there's some free stuff available with that one too. And I don't know what the next one will be, but I'll see you then.